Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of that Cyber channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the indie hit Undertale. Whoa, okay, hold on. I know it's been talked to death, but just one more video. Just give me one more video, okay? Okay, come on. All right. Yes, there are a ton of reviews on Undertale. So, let's do something a little different, shall we? Today we're going to be diving deeper into Undertale to reveal a gameplay that isn't happening in-game, but rather in your own mind. But before we dive in, let's talk a little bit about the game. Oh, and fair warning, spoilers are ahead, so if you haven't played the game, click the watch later and then come back after you finished. And bring a burger, I'm starving.
Undertale was released on September 15th, 2015 and was developed by Toby Fox. It was instantly met with widespread love from almost everyone who played it. And hate from friends and family who had to listen to the fans. Honestly, with this I don't blame you. Basically, Undertale's the story of a human that has fallen down into the monster's realm, the Underground. It is then up to you to guide your character through battles, puzzles, and more as you find your way home. Along the way, you'll run into a ridiculous yet oddly charming group of monsters. It's then up to you to befriend them. Or end them all. That's where the major appeal of the game lies. There are 3 ways to play the game. Spare everyone for the pacifist route, kill everything, and I mean everything, for the genocide route, or be totally indecisive like your girlfriend trying to pick a place to eat for the neutral route.
Excuse me, what did you say?
Nothing. Nothing. I love you.
That's what I thought.
That's not the only thing that sets Undertale apart from the rest. Undertale's gameplay involves a unique turn-based battle system. On your turn, you'll be attacking or interacting with the enemy. Then, on the enemy's turn, you'll be dodging various attacks in a bullet hell-like arena. It's freaking awesome! However, beyond the battle system, there isn't much other gameplay. Puzzles are fairly easy to solve, and outside of that, interacting with the characters is about it.
For all the hype, it's kind of weird that the game would have such light gameplay. I mean, I will always sing the highest of praise for the battle system, but beyond that, there's not much else. Or so I thought. As I was playing and analyzing the game, I found an interesting second form of gameplay. You probably noticed it while you were playing, but didn't realize how big of an impact it was making. I'm talking about Undertale's mental gameplay. I'm sure if you've played the game, you're familiar with all the feels it can evoke. I mean, seriously, all of them. Almost cried. Future Dan, throw me up crying. Different game, but ugly, right? But what the hell is mental gameplay? And did I make it up for this video? Yes, but let me explain, and you'll see what I mean.
Back in 1923, a certain Austrian neurologist, Sigmund Freud, believed that human psyche was broken down into 3 parts: id, ego, and superego. That's right, we're about to get game theory up in here with some science! The theory is a little more in depth, but let me give you the basics so you can better understand what I mean by mental gameplay. Let's start with the id. Your id is your unconscious primal instincts. This includes your survival instincts, sex drive, and in our case, bloodlust. The superego is your morality and higher thinking. Its purpose is to resist the id's urges for a more proper course of action. Basically, it's where guilt comes from. The ego is the rational, logical side of your personality. More importantly, the ego is responsible for managing the id and superego's wants and needs with the outside world. These 3 parts are the mechanics of the mental gameplay. I won't be talking much about the ego in this video, but know that in the case of Undertale, it's your determination to follow through with your route. You see what I did there with determination? No? Yeah? No? Okay, I'll go. Now, for the sake of this video, we're going to be assuming a few things. 1, you haven't played the game. 2, you've heard nothing about the multiple paths. And 3, you've played a game before. I'm going to be talking as if you know nothing about the game, so you can see how this mechanic is taught and then used. The first encounter with mental mechanics starts in the first area, the ruins. obviously. It's in this crucial part you'll be shown how the game will be using your id and superego throughout the adventure. Let's start with the superego mechanic, aka your shoulder angel. This will be leading you down the path of the true pacifist. Our first introduction to this mechanic is found with the dummy fight. After saving your butt from Flowey's attack, Toriel leads you to a dummy. Instead of learning to attack though, she wants you to strike up a conversation with it. Maybe talk about tea. It's a brilliant twist on the training battle trope we've seen time after time. Instead of combat, it introduces you to the mercy mechanic and also the superego. When you mercy the dummy, Toriel praises you on a fantastic job. Though you got no experience or gold, you've learned that following your conscience will lead you to another reward, the characters. If you choose to continue this path, your reward will not be ultimate weapons or power, but rather a chance to really enjoy all of the fantastically quirky characters. And trust me, it's worth it just for the dating scenes. Let's hop over to the id now, better known as the genocide route. This all begins at the first interaction with Flowey. After being betrayed, he warns you, in this world, it's kill or be killed. This one line sets the tone for the entire genocide route. Backstabbed and injured, Toriel leads you into the ruins, but can we even trust her? Your id is now kicking into full gear and your instincts know we're going to have to fight our way out. Giving into the urge to survive, you decide it's time to grind some levels. You continue to fight and power up until suddenly... Yeah, what? You have successfully murdered every monster in this area. The music suddenly cuts off, and the ruins now lay empty. Hell, even the frickin' ghost runs away from you. By appealing to your id, the part of you that wants to survive the game, you've now entered the genocide route. Once you step foot out of the ruins, the game has now adjusted itself to the path you decided to take. Character interactions and events have been adjusted to either pacifist or genocide, or I guess neutral, whatever. This is all part of the mental gameplay. Now that your route is decided, Undertale will be doing everything in its power to appeal to the route's opposite psyche. Superego players will be thrown scenarios that threaten your survival, trying to trick the player to fighting their way out. id players will find guilt at every turn. And not the normal kind. We're talking like old school, sometimes irrational Catholic guilt. Trust me, it's the worst. So, let's break down the superego path. The challenge is quickly established by Toriel's final words to you. She says the moment you leave the ruins, you will be hunted by Asgore, a character written in red font, mind you. It's the way the game begins to provoke the proverbial bear that is the id. A key part of the id's function, as mentioned before, is survival. It's the animalistic side of us that's been programmed to do anything to survive. Of course, you know, this being a video game, we're not really in danger, but we are fueled by the same concept. When entering into a boss battle or even a team deathmatch, we want to win and we want to survive. Now, Snowden and Papyrus don't really challenge our moral fiber too much, but rather are used to make us comfortable with the superego mechanic to conquer the game. Survive onslaughts of attacks all while granting mercy, which is all part of the plan as we reach the Undyne battle. Knowing only one strategy for beating bosses, you spare away. But she doesn't stop. Seriously, I sat for about 10 minutes waiting for her to give up. As your superego begins to falter, not knowing what to do, your id is starting to present a question: fight or flight? In the traditional sense of video games, bosses can't be escaped practically ever. That's what Undertale is counting on your id to think, to fall back on comfortable gaming habits offered by your instincts. You see, Undertale has this fun mechanic where as the enemy's health is lowered, the more damage you end up doing. If you fall for Undertale's trap, you'll try whittling down Undyne's health just to accidentally end her life with a massive hit. Say goodbye to the pacifist route. You can start the game over, but Flowey will remember. He always does. If you decide not to fight, you're left with flight. Escaping and refusing to fight Undyne will allow you to continue moving forward and eventually spare her. This might feel like the coward's way, but think about it. You can clearly kill her, and you're not running to avoid death. You're running to spare her life, taking the moral high ground of laying down arms when one will not. walking away from a fight that's not worth the bloodshed. Some straight up chivalry right there. Beyond undying, Undertale will continue to test your willpower as you encounter Muffet, who is a spider. It's okay to cringe, spiders are gross, and that's exactly the goal here. Besides a few creepy looking monsters, this enemy is working directly on our primal fears of spiders. She even blinks in a pattern to constantly remind you that she is indeed a spider. But that's just surface level. As we dig in deeper, she's just a freaking bad person. Monster. Her spider bakery is clearly a con, and even a victim stands nearby, broken and hopeless. Then, she threatens to bake you into her next batch. She's a bad monster. She's the first resemblance of a bad guy in this game. It's an interesting mechanic here since it's not tantalizing your id. It's prodding your sense of justice, trying to get your superego to overreact and end a reign of overpriced baked good tyranny. It's up to your ego, that rational part of your psyche, to keep it in check, or once again, your path will end early. If you can find it in your heart to save Muffet, you'll find your way to Metaton for one final battle before your path is locked in. The superego's final test is actually well before the route's final boss. At that point, there's just no way to fail there. No, your last true test lies with Asgore and Flowey. Before leaving the core, Alphys drops a bombshell. The only way out of this is either you kill Asgore or he kills you. Well, Not only that, upon entering the Asgore battle, your mercy option is completely destroyed. Your only option becomes fighting from here on out. So, with a heavy heart, you swing your weapon and defeat Asgore. At the brink of death, you have the option to fight or mercy. This actually ends up being a fairly easy decision since you discover he's actually a really nice guy. He only wants to help his people and clearly is full of regret for his actions. Despite wanting to leave, you know that the better option is to spare him. Except Flowey will have none of that and proceeds to kill him. What a dick! Flowey steals the human souls and becomes a giant monstrosity of JPEGs. If you didn't think it was a bullet hell before, you will now! It's here that your id is most likely to take over as you fight to survive, all while your ego and superego search for a way to not kill him. When you finally win, your id has taken the wheel for so long that you begin to second-guess your pacifist ways. Flowey is a total threat to your existence, your friends, and your world. For the safety of everyone, he has to go. You'll have one last choice to make. Grant him mercy or death. Let your id take control of the situation, and the true pacifist ending will be gone. However, through your determination, you will grant mercy and you'll be well on your way to the true pacifist ending. Now let's rewind and take the path more bloodied. Talk to anyone that's played the game and most of them will tell you just how hard it was to do the genocide route. It's really where you can see the largest struggle in your mind since the id mechanic will be asking you to basically lose all that makes you human just to finish the game. Sounds a little extreme? Well, it's not. This is a route of punishment, using moral dilemmas and attacking your determination from multiple angles. This is best seen with each death monologue from the bosses. Toriel already tried this by labeling you instantly as the bad guy, but whatever, playing as a villain has always been a desired aspect of choice-based games. Being a total dick to everyone is a game feature. But Undertale does something different that most games don't. It'll never throw anger at you. Most games with an evil option usually result in major NPCs being insanely angry with you just before you end up mindlessly killing them. Not with Undertale. Let's start with Papyrus. The game starts calling out to your inner light with a healthy dose of faith. Yeah, faith. As he dies, Papyrus passes on a message of faith, essentially saying, I know you can do better. I believe in you. Everything comes from a positive emotion. See, Undertale doesn't need to scold you for doing the wrong thing. It knows you got your own internal guilt generator inside you, the superego. The game isn't disappointed in you. The game makes you disappointed in you. Further on, you'll battle Undyne. Besides being freaking hard as balls to beat, she'll leave you with a message of hope, never cursing you, but rather passing on the hope that every living monster will stand strong, that they will survive. Again, tapping into your superego. These are sentient beings with hopes, dreams, friends, etc. You have the power to stop this murder spree. But I can see that you'd rather just kill everything, so let's move forward. One of the last calls to your shoulder angel, and for me the most impactful moment, lies with Muffet. Upon slaying her, one of her spiders will come by and lie a flower down where she died. Okay, if you don't feel bad now, then congrats. Good for you, but for me, I almost frickin' quit. This final reach to your inner light takes the form of love. This scene is probably a feeling you've had before, loss of a loved one. It's really hard to not empathize with the poor spider. For many, this moment here will strike up a few emotions and give your superego one last guilt attack before you submit to your bloodlusting id, you son of a bitch. Now your id is in full motion, and don't be surprised if you feel a little empty. The final challenge on your murderous path lies in Sans. He is easily the hardest boss in the game. Seriously, you'll be in full survival mode just to get through all of his attacks. This battle right here took me 2 hours to beat. I said 2! The struggle in your mind comes down to endurance. As you fight to survive and fail horribly multiple times, your superego has the time to talk with your ego, telling you it's not worth it, that quitting is the best option not only for stress levels, but also for Undertale. Even Sans encourages you to quit and spare this world. It all comes down to skill and your determination to see it through. And after defeating Sans, well, prepare for leagues of guilt and regret. Whether you saved the world or destroyed it, your psyche played a huge part in the game. This mental gameplay is truly what separates Undertale from the rest. The game's ability to combine both traditional gameplay with your own psyche helps in bringing the player further into this world. A world where you actually feel for what happens here. How many times have you gone on a killing spree in GTA without a second thought? Modern gaming has been built off of violence without having any real consequences. Undertale manages to do something different. It engages not just your skill level, but the fact that your emotions and instincts are part of the gameplay. Not only that, your actions will leave the characters in a state of happiness, or the world will literally be destroyed till you sell your soul for it back. The ending of Undertale will leave a lasting impact on the player thanks to the gameplay. Well, I guess I better end this episode on a joke. Let's see, is there anything like a... Ow! I just hit my funny bone. I literally hit my funny bone. This hurts. That was not a joke. Well, no need to redo that. I think that's as authentic as a reaction as you can get. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. A huge shout out to Alyssa Be Crazy, Evan from Nerd Venom with helping me edit the episode, and Jerica for her lovely sprite work on the opening animation. You can see all their Twitter handles down below and buttons for subscribing. Also, good friend of the show, Blade Blur, just put out a video, top 10 list for his favorite games of 2015. I know it's a little late, but I hope you'll go check it out because it's really good. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and share this video with your friends, your family, random YouTubers, whoever. Just get it out there because I've been putting a lot of hard work into it, and it's great to see these things spread amongst the internet. You can become a Cybernet today by clicking that subscribe button, and until next time, Cybert out.